Hey everyone, Hannah here for Finance and Fun Stuff, and today I want to go over our July 2024 finance update. June was a busy month, as I told you it was going to be in the last month's finance update, and it definitely was very busy, but we stayed within our budget very well over the last 30 days, and because this was also a high income month for us because of me getting a bonus in this month, we managed to be able to still increase our net worth even though we were doing lots of fun things, and we even kept our spending for those fun things within the budget that we had created for those fun items. And as you'll see later on in the video, that we did not go over a big percentage of our money going towards our wants, even with that money being previously saved. So I think that's a great win. But for now, let's get straight into the net worth section, which is how we always start these finance updates. And the net worth for this month is sitting at a little over $5,100. Now, this is an increase of almost $3,000 from last month, and it's just crazy to see our numbers balloon so heavily like that. If you've been following the channel for a little while, you can remember that we got to a $0 net worth not too long ago, about, I'd say, about 8-10 months ago, somewhere in that range, and we've kind of fluctuated a lot since then. But it is amazing to see that we have hit above that $5,000 milestone, because that means that our investments are starting to grow. We're starting to get some of that beloved compound interest in our life. And because we've had such a good return in the market as of late, our investments are continuing to grow, which is really helping our net worth. But above all else, our spending habits have finally gotten in line where they need to be. And that is the biggest contributor to our net worth increasing as much as it has been lately. So now we look into the spending totals portion of this video. This is always the most fun part of the video because you get to see exactly how we spent our money over the last 30 days. As a reminder, this does not have our no matter what category group on here, and that's the things that are exactly the same every single month, give or take. So that's going to be the rent, electricity, internet, all of those types of things, because they are pretty well fixed, and even if they do fluctuate from month to month, it's still something that we are going to have to pay for every single month. And so that's money we don't really have to be able to create any kind of wiggle room. And it's not money that we can roll with the punches, as YNABers say. And so I don't include that here on this graph, as I feel like it's not really too relevant. So as you can see, the biggest portion on here by far is wellness, which is just crazy that we were able to get wellness up this high over the last 30 days. But that is all because of one very large transaction that is in here, and Sage ended up finishing off this saga that she has had with her tooth, and she ended up getting her crown put on, so that cost us a little over $1,450. And so that was the majority of this wellness category, and then you got the regular stuff on there like therapy and things like that. But the biggest chunk of that was the crown, and I feel really good that we were able to take this out of our budget, and we still have not taken this out of the HSA, and I do not believe we're going to be needing to, because we have built ourselves enough of a cushion in the budget that we were able to roll with the punches and really be able to go into our budget and go, okay, we can pull a little here, pull a little here, pull a little here, and we were able to roll with this without having to take it away from our HSA, which is great because that means it's going to start investing again very soon once we hit that threshold where investments will start happening and we have a cushion inside of it. The next largest category group on here is the pets, and that is because of our annual exams for the cats. We take them in for their annual checkups where they get their shots and things like that, and they all end up happening in the same month. Now, this is for simplicity's sake for us because we get to take 2 of our cats at the same time and then our another cat the next week, and this allows us to get all of it done right in one scoop, and so that does create a large amount of money coming out in 1 month. But again, this is money that we saved all over the past 12 months, which I feel really, really good about. So that way it didn't feel like a big hit, and it was just the same amount that we were saving just like normal. So that feels really nice. So now you're going to see our wants up here, and our wants are actually about $500 or so between my wants, Sage's wants, and us wants. And I consider this to be very good considering all of the stuff that we had going on over the last 30 days. And if you take that into account of exactly how much money we made in June, because we had a really big month, and I had that bonus, I've been donating plasma for extra money, it actually is only about 11% of our income, which I feel really great about. And again, even though this is $500, which is a significant amount of money, and it just so happens that we had a very large amount of money coming in this month, this is all money that we saved for doing these things in this month, and this was just a big month of us doing a lot of fun things, which at the end of the day is all that life is about. But I do want to say here that our needs but can vary is really, really low on here, and I'm very proud of that. And I can't wait to get into the nitty gritty of that when we go over to our goals section, which we are going to be transitioning to now. So every single month we set goals for our financial future, and I share those goals with all of you so that way we can track our progress. So the last 2 months we set a couple different goals for ourselves. The first goal was to have our food budget be under $450 altogether. Now that was going to be for groceries and for eating out. So putting those two together, we would spend under $450. And I am so pleased to announce that we hit this target. And we were under $450 for both eating out and groceries, which is really amazing considering that we did so much extra stuff this month. In fact, we got our grocery budget down to just $340, which is just insane. And I'm really grateful that we have figured out how to properly budget for our groceries and ensure that we are not wasting food, which is really helping out with that. Now, keeping our eating out in check is something that is a little bit more difficult for us on the day-to-day, but I do think we did a really good job in the last 30 days because we did not go over this goal even with all the stuff that we had going on, which is just fantastic. And the second goal we set for ourselves was to purchase the rental car that we are going to be needing for a vacation that we have coming up in September. So we needed to set aside a certain amount of money for this, and we actually did set aside all of that money, and then we figured out that if we just rented the rental car in the beginning of the trip, dropped it off to an agency that was close, and then picked it up again and then drove to the airport and dropped it off, we would save a significant amount of money versus keeping that car for the entire time we were on vacation. And we didn't think we would need it because the place that we live is pretty centrally located, and other people are going to be bringing cars on this family beach trip, so we just didn't feel it necessary. So not only were we able to save all of that money that we needed to, but we were also able to cut down the amount of money that we needed pretty significantly. So I am happy to say that although we have not booked that rental car as of yet, all of the money is sitting in that category and it is ready to go, and we will be booking it any day now, which is just awesome. Next, we are going to transition into our new goals for the month of July. So we do have 2 goals again this month. The very first is to have our food be under $400. So again, this is going to be groceries and eating out, and I really want to see if we can stretch ourselves to be able to get under $400 this month. Again, this is going to be a little bit of a challenge due to the things we have going on this month. I have my music festival, and so that does take a little bit of extra money to be able to put into eating food at camp, and maybe a little bit of extra eating while I am there. But at the end of the day, I really think we can hit this if we are just super dialed in with our groceries, and we are dialed in with the fact that we don't need to eat out unless we absolutely have to. And because we are so good about having food options available in the house of things that we can make no matter what, we are doing really well at making sure that our grocery budget and eating out bill stays really low. And having this metric here to look at every month and know that we hit $340 last month, I mean, maybe we could hit $300 in groceries this month, which would just be crazy. So I'm very grateful for our eating habits and the way we have changed that, because that has really been helpful to give us a little bit of extra slush in the budget. And our second goal is to get rent back in our next month category. So what I mean by this is in the software that we use to budget, YNAB or You Need a Budget, there is a way that you can store money and use it for the month ahead. So we were diligently digging up towards getting a full month ahead, which would mean that the paychecks that we earned in the month of June would be used towards the month of July. We did end up giving a friend of ours a pretty significant sum of money so that way they could get through a tough period that they are going through. And so that unfortunately took back our progress quite significantly. And so even though we have built up a significant amount of money from the last 30 days, we haven't completely recovered from that yet. And that person is paying us back, but it's not going to be immediately. So we are slowly building our next month category group back up. I want to get us to the point where we at least can pay rent as soon as that month turns over, right on the 1st. Now, this may sound a little bit crazy because, of course, we need to pay rent on the 1st. And it would sound insane for us to have investments and all of these other things and be trying to move a month ahead if we are paying rent on exactly the day it's due. But we are actually in a system where we are paying rent often a month ahead. And when we can get that money set in the month ahead category, then we pay rent on the 1st. So for instance, if we were able to do this month, then come August 1st, we would go in there and we would pay rent, and we would actually be paying September's rent because we always have a 30-day slush built into that, which is what we did in the very beginning of our lease. We paid a few months ahead of time, and then we kept it at 1 month ahead of time, so that way we always have a little bit of extra cushion if we ever need to fall back on that. So getting this money set aside in the next month category by the end of the month is definitely attainable. It's going to be an increase for sure, but I do think that we can do it. Looking at the margin that we're going to be having over the month as anticipated, it would be about 50% of our margin, but I do believe that we could do that because we have gotten our expenses so dialed in, and we are so focused on getting back to that point where we can pay not only rent, but all of our expenses for the next 30 days from this category group so that we know we have another full slush. So that's it for this month's finance update. I'm so happy to share with all of you our finances every single month and see exactly how they change. And seeing $5,000 in our net worth is so ridiculously comforting. It has been so difficult looking at those numbers being so low because we ended up having to purchase a second car and we did not have the funds to be able to buy one outright. So we got a loan for that, and that made our net worth completely tank into the negatives. But over the last year, since we bought that car, we have really worked hard to be able to diligently save money, and we have increased our net worth up into the positive and well above $5,000. Well, not well above, but above $5,000. And it makes me very happy that we have gotten to this place. As always, I share this with all of you, not as a way to gloat in any way, shape, or form, but as a way to inspire others to look deeply into their finances, and hopefully you can find a way to budget your life better. And there's always some sort of work to do in your own personal finance, and I believe if everybody looks into their own budget, they can find a little bit of extra wiggle room, and they can figure out ways that they can try a little bit harder. As always, if you enjoyed these videos, please make sure to leave it a like, as it really helps this channel grow and spread around YouTube. You're going to want to make sure you are subscribed as well, so that way you can see our finance updates coming every single month. And I'd love to hear a comment from all of you about exactly how your finances are going over the last 30 days. Now, a little bit of housekeeping for the channel. I do have some other videos that I am working on this month, and unfortunately I have fallen a bit behind over the last few months and have just been posting mainly the finance updates. But I do plan on having some other content coming this month, and I'm so excited to share that with all of you. I plan on doing content from Big Dub. I plan on talking about exactly what the volunteer experience was like volunteering at a music festival, because I know a lot of people are interested in that, and also explain about what the experience was like attending Big Dub Festival, because in addition to volunteering, I'm also going to be attending. And then the third aspect of the videos that I want to create from Big Dub is going to be about the Super Fam upgrade that they have. So although I got a free ticket for volunteering, I purchased the upgrade for Super Fam, which allows you to meet and greet with artists and hang out in the artist lounge. So I did not find any compelling video content about that on YouTube, so I plan on making videos about that as well, so that way people can be informed about exactly how the process works and decide whether that is a upgrade that they want to make to their ticket if they do decide they want to go to Big Dub Festival. Now, all of this content is certainly going to take some time to prepare, and because of my heavy work schedule as of late, I have not had a lot of time to work on these videos, but I do plan on getting these videos done at a rather quick pace when I come back from Big Dub, and at least doing my vlogs and things of that nature from Big Dub, so that way you can all see about how that is as I work towards the rest of these videos. I do have some other content that I have been storyboarding, and I have a bunch of stuff that I want to get done on this channel. I have just had a huge issue with time over the last few months, and thankfully my work schedule seems like it is finally going to lessen significantly, and with a lessened work schedule, I will be able to work on videos so much more, which will make me happy to be able to create all this content for all of you about the finance and all the fun stuff. Thank you all so much for watching if you made it to this end part of the video. I want to thank you all very much, and take care.